Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to more Total Extreme Wrestling. My name is BrendenPlayz, and of course we continue our TNA playthrough for 2006. We're currently on week 4 of January. We have done a couple of shows that you guys are about to see the results of right now, so not a lot really happened in the last couple of weeks of the game, so I decided I'll just play through and get ourselves a little step closer, but I'm going to give you guys a bit of an update of where we're at right now. So we obviously had our final resolution. It was a bit of a disaster, but we moved on and we had a episode of Impact. It was a 70 overall show. On that show, basically, let's run through it. So we had a couple of pre-show matches there. Alex Shelley beat Andy Douglas. Petey Williams beat Chase Stevens. We started to kind of progress a little bit further with the Jeff Hardy Muhammad Hassan feud. That was a really highly rated segment of 88, which was that's pretty positive for that. And we know that that is going to do well in terms of promos, but the match obviously didn't do very well. We have reformed LAX, so as you guys know, I believe I showed you that I got Sean Hernandez, so we've got Hernandez and Homicide teaming up together, and they're coming after the New Age Outlaws. We had Devon beat James Storm, and what actually was a stinker of a match, 50 overall, and these guys are actually really popular. I don't know what went wrong. It just sucked. It was a stinker. I think we might stick to tag team matches there. We had Raven, just a bit of a throwaway match just to build some momentum for him. He got a win over Elix Skipper. Sting promo over Jarrett. We have Christy Hemme now. We had her have a match against Gail Kim. It was a 37, so that's, well, what we expect from those two. I mean, Christy Hemme, for goodness sakes. But not too bad. That's okay. We had Monty Brown beat Tanahashi, just to kind of get Tanahashi on TV a little bit more. That's the thing, we can't really do a lot with him because he's so far below everyone else, but we can start to kind of just put him on TV. Even if he's losing, overall, in the end, long run, it definitely will benefit him. We had Samoa Joe accepting a AJ Styles challenge, and our main event was Rhino beating Test, and then we had Raven challenging Test afterwards. I think I had Raven interfere in that one to help Rhino win. So Test, we're a couple of matches in with Test, and I gotta say, it hasn't been that great with him. He's quality average 59, so not amazing. And even he had some other matches on the independents. His best one was against Christian, and that wasn't even in TNA. So there you go. So I guess we could look forward to that one. Even Christian couldn't get a big match out of him, but that's not great so far. Not great so far from Test. And he's meant to be, as you can see on your screen, our number 4 heel. So that may have to change unless he starts to pick up his game, because at the moment I have not been that impressed. We just did one more show as well. That's where we're up to right now. It was a 74 overall show, better than the 70 that we got. The show we did after Final Resolution, this one got a 1.16 rating, and the show we just did a 1.2, so an improvement. Just quickly on this show as well, Bobby Roode beat Chase Stevens. America's Most Wanted did a promo. A good match here with the America's Most Wanted against the New Age Outlaws. We put the tag team titles on the line, actually, and they did win despite I think I had the Dudley Boys interfere in that one, but it was a botched interference. So basically, the New Age Outlaws got distracted when it was meant to be the America's Most Wanted, so basically costing them the victory. And that also kind of helps the New Age Outlaws. It gives us another reason to do the match later on. That's obviously one of the rivalries we want to do at some point. We got Jim Cornette. We started using Jim Cornette. I put Jim Cornette with America's Most Wanted, so James Storm and Chris Harris. I made him the manager, but I'm going to use Jim Cornette in a authority figure role as well. So basically, I want him to be, I guess, the GM, as well as I think I've got him doing commentary for the major events, because I want to use him more. I feel like he's a waste if I'm not using him in as much as I possibly can, because he's so good. So we've got to use him as much as we can. So managing, and when I need an authority figure, which is not a lot, I don't use the authority figure thing that much, maybe once or twice a show, and not even every show. So every now and then, it's good to use. It's good to have an authority figure because it will give you good segments, especially if you've got someone like Jim Cornette who has such a good promo ability. It will give you good promo segments. We had Christopher Daniels beat Eric Young in an 82 match. That was actually really good. No surprise there. Gail Kim promo and Christy Hemme. We're officially going to have Christy Hemme and Gail Kim as a rivalry. I think we're going to go with that. So, why not? Got to do something with the women. We had a tag team match, so we've got some more women. We've hired a lot more women. We'll show you who we got in a moment's time, but we got Molly Holly, for example, and it went from a 37 up to a 62. So, just introducing Molly Holly and a couple of the other women on the match really helped it out big time. A few more promos, by Biss and Jeff Jarrett, both highly rated. Truth beat Homicide. It was a really highly rated match. And then we went with the Raven rivalry, the Raven and Tess rivalry. We continued with it. We're going to persevere with it. So we tried it again. So Raven, basically he cut a promo on Tess, and then basically they had a brawl to the ring. Then they had their match. Tess beat Raven. Now what we had is we had A-Train. As we know, we signed A-Train. He made his debut by interfering in the match, costing Raven the win, giving Tess the win. And then after the match, A-Train and Tess basically saying that, hey, we're now a team, we're now a thing, and we're going to be working together to take down Raven. So there you go. Giving Tess the win actually bumped his popularity up a little bit, up to 62, so that's a good sign. Raven was not affected, I don't think. I think he was, I don't even know if he was 72. I think he might have been 71. But he's up to 72 now, or down to 72, either or. I don't quite remember, but that's fine. That's good. The problem with Raven is he does have, and we're going to show you now, he does have these drug problems. He's got a drug problem, and we can't send him to rehab because we can't sign him to a written deal. So we can't really, okay, let's sit him out for 3 months, send him to rehab and fix him. We can't do that. That's normally what I like to do. So there's not a lot we can really do. When someone, is, violating, I guess, the drug thing, I like to fine them, and he's not happy with that. So, well, that sucks. Sucks to be you, Raven. But unfortunately, you get fined because you're doing the drugs. And it impacts his match performances and impacts everything he does, really. And also the wrestlers get really annoyed because he's on drugs. When they wrestle him, they also get really annoyed at him and also pisses them off and ruins their morale. So it's a real issue, and we can't actually fix it with Raven. But, that's the price you pay, I suppose. If you're going to have Raven on your roster, that's, what we're going to have to deal with. But, so we introduced A-Train as well. He's at 66 popularity, which is good. We don't have him to a written deal because he's working with Japan, and we can't sign other Japan workers. Plus, I want him to keep working in Japan. I'm happy with that. That's what he did in real life anyways, so I'm happy with him going to Japan and doing that thing. Alright, so let's show you some of the women that we brought in. Let's have a quick look. Genders up here. Alright, so we got Awesome Kong, or Amazing Kong, or Karma. I call her Awesome Kong. That's what I at least know her as. Her popularity is not bad, 38, not amazing, but we obviously can bring her in as the monster heel, and I think that's going to work well. Now, we're looking for some good quality women matches, and we've got cheerleader Melissa. I think she could produce that, so we've got her in, despite not amazing popularity, but I think we can work with her. Obviously, we've got Christy Hemme as well, and look, Christy Hemme's there for a bit of eye candy, which we do need for our show. Part of our audience wants to see the eye candy stuff, and Christy Hemme will satisfy that. And, she's not terrible in the ring, she's average, so that's good enough. Obviously, we've still got Gail Kim. Now, we have Jackie Gator. Now, she came with, when we started up the playthrough, she was already signed. I don't really have anything for her, and she's nothing really special in any category. So, I feel like I may release her. She has okay popularity, but I don't have anything for her because she can't really wrestle. So the only thing we can really do with her is be a manager, but I'm pretty all set on managers at the moment. I don't really need another eye candy manager, and if I need one, I can always use Christy Hemme, for example, to put her in that role. So you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna let her go. She's gonna get released. I've got nothing for her. No point paying her if we don't have anything for her because we don't exactly have a lot of money. Still got Miss Tessmarker as well. Obviously she's working with A-Train and Test at the moment. I'm happy with that combination. Molly Holly, as you saw, she's actually got really good popularity, 56 for a woman. That's actually really good. So, and we know she's great. So Molly Holly will be a big asset. Good old Natty, we've got Natalia. She's in. So why not? She's still got good stats, even though she's still very young at this point. But decent popularity as well. We can use her pretty well. ODB, we know she had a good run in TNA. Good popularity, 55. So She, I guess, could be a great opposition to Awesome Kong in my mind. I think that'd be a good matchup there, so I like that. Sarah Del Rey, we know how good she is. She's a terrific in-ring performer, so again, another really good wrestler to add to the list. I think her and cheerleader Melissa could have some good matches, so that's good. Decent popularity. And a couple of the other women that were already here, SoCal Val, again, I've got nothing for her. Now, the reason why I might keep her, actually, I don't even know. I mean, I was going to say that she's got good popularity, 52, but look at her stats, week average. She's not even good entertainment and camera. It's average, so she's really got nothing to really offer us. So because of that, I think I'm gonna have to let her go as well. I've got nothing for her, so I'm sorry, but goodbye. So she's gone. So like I said, there's no point paying her. We still have Tracy Brooks as well, which actually got her to a written deal. We gave her a 1-year deal. She's not bad. I don't actually really recall. I don't really know much about Tracy Brooks. I might have to look into her, do some research, I guess. I don't know anything about her, so but good popularity for whatever reason, so that's good news. So that's our women. So that's not a bad little women's division we're actually getting here. We're starting to kind of build it because it was really non-existent. We do need to create a Knockouts Championship, so we will do that once we get the women's going. And we'll crown a new women's champion there. So that's where we're at right now. We've got, after this week, we'll begin a new month. So that's always good. We can kind of get a bit of a gauge of how well we performed for the month in terms of our finance and our growth and everything like that. So we'll check all of that out as well. And other little pieces of news as well. Here's a couple of interesting notes. New Japan. These are some Japanese young guns, as you will all be very aware of. Now, I thought this was kind of interesting. Okada's been released. Now, I don't know if I'm going to pick him up. He's still 17. And NATO's also been released as well. But a few young guns that we can probably keep our eye on. And they're now, available. So if we want to get them in, we can. So that's not a bad idea. And Conan, another guy who we didn't have a lot for. He wanted to be a color commentator, but we kind of wanted him to be a manager. So he was a bit upset by that. He's actually quit. So he's left. He's gone. He's left TNA. He's done. So he's gone. We don't have him anymore. So LAX will be missing that kind of manager role. And Shane Douglas, he actually went and became the head booker of PWA, which is the Professional Wrestling Alliance. That's actually in Australia. So there you go. So he's actually gone to be the head booker there, which meant that he is leaving us as well. So he's gone from TNA as well. So a couple of guys there gone. Shane Douglas was more of a road agent, which I think we're pretty good on. We might need to pick up a new one. I'm not sure. But yeah, so Shane Douglas and Conan are both gone. And that's, a bit of a blow. I'm looking at, around. There might be some more guys we could probably pick up. I mean, again, looking at some of the more notable names that we could probably think about. I'm really tempted to bring in, a Matt Morgan. I think he definitely could be someone we could use well. Obviously, bring him in we could use him as a heel, maybe even a babyface as well. I'm not sure. But I think he might be a decent name to kind of utilize. And he's got good popularity as well. Even though he had a terrible run in the WWE, there's no reason why we can't bring him in and utilize him okay. So he's someone I definitely may pull the trigger on. We'll have to see. The other guy I'm thinking about as well is Rick Steiner. Now, you might be thinking, why the hell you were thinking of Rick Steiner? Well, I think, the Dudley Boys versus the Steiners could be a good little matchups there. And we've obviously got Scott Steiner, so I figured, why not bring in Rick? Obviously, really good tag team experience that they have. And Rick, on his own is, meaningless, but he has 63 popularity, so we could have him lose to some of our up-and-coming guys, especially some of our tag teams. Him and Scott could get involved there and put some of them over. So we might actually sign that contract now, and we'll bring him in, not on a long-term deal, just a 6-month deal, and we'll give him a bit of a low ball and see if he'll, take that. So he just wants to be on major TV. That's fair enough. He's a bit old these days, so that's cool. So we'll bring in Rick Steiner if he'll, I think he'll accept that, and bring him in and kind of have him and Scott Steiner work as a tag team for a while and do that thing. And yeah, so I think that will work. You know, we could bring in Rikishi. That's not a bad option. He's only 40, so he's still an okay pick. X-Pac, too many personal demons probably to bother bringing him in. But really not a lot else we could kind of do. You know, obviously we would love to have Chris Jericho. Still won't talk to us though. We could bring in Carlito. We actually bumped down Carlito's stats a little bit. There's a few guys that we went and tuned up a little bit. Carlito is one of them. For whatever reason, again, he's a pay per appearance still. So, but you know, we will probably leave him alone because it'd just be unrealistic to get him at this point. And yeah, Ken Shamrock is another guy. And Low Key as well. I mean, look at Low Key stats. It's just terrific, and probably would be terrific to have in our X division. So, you know, not a big fan of Low Key, but we got to do what's best for business, you know. You got to do what's best for TNA. So we'll bring him in and we'll give him a deal, and he wants a bit more money. That's fine. So we'll bring him in and have him a part of the X division. He doesn't want anyone more than 6 months or 9 months. So we'll give him. We'll make it 6 months. So we can't even get him to a written deal or anything like that if we wanted to. So I mean, look, good stats. He'll have some good matches against AJ, Samoa Joe, Fallen Angel for sure. Really good matches. So I think it's worth it. I think it's worth doing, and you know, he can come in, and might only be a short stint, as I said, 6 months. That's fine. So there you go. So that's where we're at right now. We might skip ahead a few days and kind of see some more news and updates as we get going. Okay, so we've skipped ahead a few days, and we're now on Monday, the start of a new month. And something interesting I wanted to kind of show you guys, just on the WWE side of things, we had the Royal Rumble. Edge won the Royal Rumble in 2006, so there you go. I thought that was kind of interesting as well. So Batista's still the world champion there, and I think John Cena's the other champion as well. I'm not quite sure. They had an 86 overall pay-per-view, so put that, you know, keep that in the back of our minds when we're thinking about what our pay-per-view needs to kind of be to be at the same level of standards. So 86 is going to be tough to beat for sure. Some of the mail that I'm going to show you guys, just a few offers have been made to some of the guys that we're looking at, and a lot of our women now have signed written deals, and they're all set to be a part of us. So ODB, Cheerleader Melissa, Sarah Del Rey, they're all now available for us. And the other probably interesting thing was Jim Cornette was released by Ring of Honor, but he's working as ECCW, and we can't actually get him to a written deal because he is the head booker of ECCW, so we can't get him to a written deal. Otherwise we definitely would, but we can't, so that's a bit of a nuisance. Now, one of the things I'm kind of really debating on is whether or not we should bring in a developmental territory. I think it's really important to have a developmental, and you know, we don't have a lot of money to do so. We'll get to that in a moment. But I'm really kind of torn on where we should bring in a developmental. Right now, we have some working relationships with Ring of Honor, New Japan, and CMLL. But I'm kind of thinking about bringing in someone else, you know, creating another relationship with another company. And the one I'm really thinking about the most, it kind of makes sense as well, would be the NWA, the National Wrestling Alliance. Now, for whatever reason, there's now an NWA promotion in the game. I don't, you know, I didn't know that was, you know, for real. But they're obviously located in Southeast, is where, you know, we are as well. So it kind of, you know, works out quite well. And, you know, we still have some relationships with the NWA. We still have the championships, I guess you could say. And there's some good guys working there. Sean Waltman, Scott Hall, Chuck Palumbo, you know, Vampire Warrior. So there's a few decent names working there. Roddy Piper's there as well. So we could send some of our guys to that promotion and have them work there and gain some experience. As well as that, it'd be really handy to do that, because then we could sign some of the guys that we know that's pretty good in the future. You know, for example, Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, some of these guys that, you know, aren't really doing much. We can get them and bring them in and hire them and get them working and be under contract with us as well. And like, for example, Okada and Nato, who got released, we could bring them in and work there. So that's something I might propose. So we'll try and see if we can get that done. So I want to have them as our child company. So we want to be the parent company to them. So we'll approach them and we'll see if they accept. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, they will. Now, the other thing I like to check as well is any new workers Now, generally every month we will see new wrestlers debuting. It's just something that happens. So let's take a quick look. Any notable names here? Michael Shamrock. There you go. Jamie Dudley. So there's a few names. Oh yeah, he's a Scottish man who works as an announcer. He looks a bit odd. So yeah, there's a few names that come in, but none that really kind of that I'm, stick out to me as someone I know. But we always keep an eye on that as well, because you never know. You could get someone, a big name that just debuts, and you get your chance to kind of sign them and snap them up quickly. So if you keep an eye on that, pay attention to that, you won't miss out on the best new talents coming in. So we have our women now. They're all locked in. I don't know if I showed you guys, but I got Kenta to a pay-per-appearance deal as well. I don't know if I showed you that last episode, but he's in. So our roster's really starting to come together really well. There's a few other guys we could probably offload. I'm not sure. Let's just take a quick look at some of the guys that we're not quite using. For example, Cassidy O'Reilly. Only getting 400 a show in a low downside. We aren't going to use him. He's not really that good either. And a reason why I want to offload these guys is because we could use this money and sign someone who we know is pretty talented, we know is going to be used, and knows going to be a star, and use that extra money. And we're not exactly making big money either. So we're going to send him away, even though he's not actually a part of a tag team with Chase Stevens. Chase Stevens is part of the tag team with Andy Douglas. So he's useless. So quick look at our finance. So this is our overall performance for the month. So we actually did turn a profit, $112,000 we made at the end of the month. We're paying $680,000 for our talent, for the workers, and the rest, not a lot of expenses anywhere else, but our pay-per-view revenue was just enough, as were the ticket sales and TV revenue, to cover everything. So not too bad at all. Now, our worker expense probably will increase if we look to sign some more guys to developmental deals, for example. That will definitely increase. But by signing guys to written deals, for example, getting some of our big names like a Sting and Test and Scott Steiner and guys like that, getting them to written deals will help us in the long run to make sure that, otherwise you pay, $4,000 or $5,000 for appearance. Well, you get them on house shows, you can use them as much as you want, and we will be looking to bring in a second TV show pretty soon, because we haven't really been able to cover a lot of our mid-card guys. A lot of guys, for example, Tanahashi, not really getting used. Someone like Bobby Roode, I'm a big fan of Bobby Roode, as you guys know. I'm not even really using him either, because we just don't have the time, and we haven't been able to use our main event guys every single show the way that we probably would like to. So that's also been a bit of an issue. So a second show, probably like, I don't know, TNA Explosion or whatever, we could bring that in, have that on, get it a good TV deal, and that could be pretty handy as well. So we could use that and kind of maybe we could use it as a separate show to sell more tickets, or we could just use it as a way to kind of get our mid-card storylines rolling and get a bit more guys on TV and book a few more guys. And also our women's division as well, the Knockouts division, we can get it to start building that, because we know that it's definitely struggling at this point. So there you go, they've actually rejected the proposal. Wow, okay. Well, that's thrown a spanner in the works. They are a regional size, so they are a pretty sizable promotion. That probably is the reason why they've rejected it. They do have some good names there. That's what I said. Having Scott Hall work with some of our newer guys could really be good. Same with Sean Waltman. So that's a real shame. All right, so we got Rick Steiner. He's actually agreed to come in and work. So we're going to bring him in. We'll make him an upper mid-carder. And we got Low Key as well. So we got Low Key. I think Low Key probably needs to be a heel though. I think, we've got AJ Styles and Fallen Angel as top baby faces. We bring him in as a heel, then Samoa Joe's got a fourth guy, another guy. There's a fourth guy we can add to that Samoa Joe rivalry. So that might not be a bad option. We might bring him in as a heel. We'll have to check his stats to see if that's more suitable for him. Let's take a quick look. So he is exactly the same. Heel or babyface doesn't really matter. So, and look at them stats. That's really good and good popularity. So he'd be perfect. That way we now have 4 really good X Division guys. And I see AJ and Samoa Joe as World Championship material at some point as well. But yeah, so that's good. We can keep them there. He does need to get a gimmick though, so we need to assign him some kind of gimmick. So I'm not sure what we'll give him. Maybe something like, you know, a really good in-ring performer, something like that. Something easy. So he wants his legitimate is A plus, is an A. So we need to make sure that we give him a gimmick that suits that. And you know, this could be okay. Next big thing, or ringmaster. Didn't really work for Austin. I don't know if it's going to work for Low Key. So next big thing could be okay, or wrestling machine might not be so bad, but you can see our fans probably wouldn't respond well to such a one-dimensional gimmick, so you have to kind of keep that in mind as well. Whereas this one, they wouldn't mind this, so we might just go with that next big thing. He can be that cocky, arrogant heel, thinks he's, you know, he's the man, he's the next big thing. Very small though, he's only small, so he won't go up to a lightweight, so he's only small, but that's fine. So we could probably, you know, insert him into the Samoa Joe rivalry with AJ and Daniels, and that can give us a couple of matches and maybe even a fatal four-way at the pay-per-view as well. I think that would be really good. I think that could really really do something well there. So a big fatal four-way for the X Division Championship would be pretty sweet. So that's where we're at right now with that. But yeah, so we've got to go ahead and get ourselves ready to book our next show. Our next pay-per-view is in a couple weeks' time, so we have 2 more Impact shows before we get to our pay-per-view. So let's get into them. Okay, so we have the show booked and ready to go. So we got Natty and Miss Testmarker, Petey Williams, and Jay Lethal. We're gonna have the debut of Low Key. He's gonna go up against Christopher Daniels, aka Fallen Angel, and then we're gonna have Low Key challenge the X Division champion Samoa Joe to a match. We got the Naturals against the LAX. Muhammad Hassan cuts a promo on Jeff Hardy. Molly Holly against Gail Kim. I think Christy Hemme gets herself involved there as well. Contract signing between Jeff Jarrett and Christian Cage. I think what we're going to do at the next pay-per-view is have Christian and Jeff Jarrett one-on-one for the championship. Raven cuts a promo on Test. Brother Ray versus James Storm. Hopefully that does better than the Devon match. And then we have a tag team match between Christian and Jeff Hardy, teaming up to take on Muhammad Hassan and Jeff Jarrett. So I'm expecting good ratings from that one. Let's hope. And then after that, we have Muhammad Hassan and Jeff Jarrett basically beating down Christian and Jeff Hardy. And we got Sting coming out for the save. It says save from 2-on-1. It's actually 2-on-2. So Sting comes out and does the big save. So we use Sting and we keep advancing that storyline. Well, 2 storylines right there. So we'll run the show. Let's see how it goes. So Natty and Miss Testmarker. We know Miss Testmarker is a terrible, she can't wrestle very good, but we need to keep using her so she can improve. And like I said, she's improving in her performance skills right here. And 42 match. So Natty makes her debut and does fine. Petey Williams against Jay Lethal. Petey Williams won that one for 64. And wow, look at this. 90. Wow. Okay, Low Key versus Christopher Daniels. This was awesome. Okay, there you go. So Low Key, bringing him in was a good decision, and the gimmick we gave him is actually rated very good. So double thumbs up right there. So that was really good. 90. That's a great way to start the show. His promo, not so great, but that's fine. We know he's not the best talker in the world, but we needed him to cut a promo and make a challenge. Naturals and LAX, 65. Big reason for that is that Hernandez is so far below everyone else, but even the Naturals are not that high up, and Homicide's doing well, kind of carried the match. And we had Road Dogg on commentary for that as well to advance the LAX storyline with the New Age Outlaws. Muhammad Hassan, he cut his promo 88. So Muhammad Hassan, great promo cut, as you can see. In ring, that's where it's the downfall. It's disappointing, but hopefully does well later. Molly Holly and Gail Kim had a good match. So Molly Holly seems as though she's been a good pickup so far. And the contract signing went quite well. Christian Cage is not suited to his gimmick. Okay. So apparently we need to kind of change his gimmick. So I'm surprised by that, but we'll have to see. And Jeff Jarrett's learning and developing a little bit more as well. So that's good news for Jeff Jarrett. Raven's promo wasn't quite the best either, so that's an issue. Bubba Ray and James Storm is 71, not bad at all. I mean, obviously the tag team matches are doing much better, but the singles matches aren't doing as well. So that's expected. Okay, in the last match, the main event had an 81 rating. And you can see here Jeff Hardy was a performance of 80, Christian 83, Jeff Jarrett 84, and this is the big one, Muhammad Hassan 73. So that's really good. Muhammad Hassan, we only had a couple of matches with him so far. Hasn't been amazing. This has been his best one. So that's positive news for our guy that we want to be one of our top heels, if not the top heel. That's a bit of a relief. Thank God he did something good. So 81. And then the big Sting save at the end got 91. So that's good. So that's a great way to kind of close out the show. So overall 79. But here's the issue: we didn't have enough Wild Raw, Car Crashes, or Mayhem matches. Okay, I thought we did have some. Maybe we needed one more to kind of cover that. I don't like doing those types of matches. That's my issue. I don't necessarily like doing those all the time because I feel like they get worse ratings than in comparison to other types of matches. But there you go. That's good. That's good news. And we'll see how we went in terms of the ratings. So we got a 2.0 rating. Where did that come from? Okay, 2-0. Okay, 2 rating. We went 1.2 last show. That's a big difference. I guess we had a much better quality show, yeah, but I didn't expect to go up that much. So that's really good, really good actually. So, you know, we're really starting to build up. You know, obviously Christian's at that 80 popularity at the moment. Muhammad Hassan nearly at that 80 mark at the late 70s. You know, Jeff Hardy's doing well. Jeff Jarrett's still doing well. So we've really started to develop some guys. Low Key, he had a tremendous match. That was a great way to start the show off with Fallen Angel, Christopher Daniels. You know, we need to give Christopher Daniels some more wins. So we have been trying. We have been having him verse some other guys, and so he can keep getting his momentum. So we've got a lot of really good talent at the moment. And I guess that was, you know, TNA. TNA had a lot of great talent, a lot of great matches, just didn't quite get there. So we need to try and make sure that we get there. We need to make sure we improve and get to the point where we are creating some stars. And we've got some, but we just need to keep on building it. So that's a really good result. Really happy with that. And you can see last month we actually increased our popularity. So we went from 54 to 55. So we are actually increasing our popularity, which is good news. You know, we've got a few new guys. We haven't used Scott Steiner yet, but we've got Rick Steiner now, so we could probably do some kind of tag team rivalry there. We need to change a few gimmicks, for example, Christian's gimmick. So we've got a few things to get done. I still want to get a developmental territory, and we need to pick who we can use. We might have to go for a much smaller company because obviously the NWA must be too big for us to kind of get them because they're a regional size. Ring of Honor would be too big as well, so I'm not 100% sure what would be the best one. Maybe PWG might be an option to use there, unless we want to go a little smaller or in a different region. But yeah, so that's that. So that's where we're at right now. Things are going pretty well for us. We had a really good rating, and we'll leave it at that. Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. If you enjoyed it, make sure you do leave a like on it and subscribe to see more episodes coming away very soon.